Greetings, my little lovelies. I hope I find you all well again, and as usual, feeling tickety-boo. Now, apologies in advance if you hear any noises, banging, crashing, etc. It's a Saturday morning as I'm filming this, and little Dylan is on the prowl, trying to take the roof off the house. So, if the roof does come off the house, please excuse me. Now, we've got 3 little videos for you today. The first one is about a signal that's coming from space, and they don't know where it's coming from, which is quite interesting, and it was in the news just last week, I believe. The second video is about a dead sister, oh spooky, and the third one is all about the afterlife. Now, can you hear that? I think the roof is still on my house. Marvellous. Looks like I've got my intro done. So, let's crack on, shall we? A mysterious radio signal is coming from a nearby galaxy, scientists have said. And that galaxy looks surprisingly like our own, the astronomers have announced. Together, the findings could help solve the mystery of fast radio bursts, unexplained very intense blasts of energy that are being sent through the universe, and could be the result of anything from unknown natural phenomenon to alien life, scientists have speculated. Astronomers have been hunting the source of fast radio bursts, or FRBs, for more than a decade. Over that time they have detected hundreds of signals, though pinpointed very few. The search is difficult in part because they last for only milliseconds and could be coming from anywhere in the sky, making detailed examination of them very difficult. Astronomers have so far managed to find the precise sources of 4 of these bursts. Now they have managed to locate another in a nearby galaxy, taking that total to 5. But they are perhaps more excited about the nature of the galaxy that is sending them out. It appears to be similar to Earth. Identifying the host galaxy for FRBs is critical to tell us what kind of environment FRBs live in, and thus what actually might be producing the FRBs, said Sarah Burke-Spolara, Assistant Professor of Physics and Astronomy, and co-author on a new paper in Nature. This is a question for which scientists are still grasping at straws. That discovery adds further mystery to the question of where FRBs are coming from. The first of the blasts came from a tiny galaxy made up of metals and newly formed stars, which led scientists to suggest they might be the result of the kind of stars found there, but that would not apply to the newly found galaxy. That means astronomers will have to consider other explanations of how FRBs are generated, and might suggest that they are multiple origins. The newly discovered source, named FRB 180916, is only 500 million light-years from Earth, and is much nearer than the other bursts have been found in the past. It is 7 times closer than the only other repeating burst that has been tracked down. That could allow for further study of the burst that could give further clues about where the bursts are coming from, scientists have said. But what do you reckon, guys? Any ideas where they're coming from? As usual, let us know your thoughts. A gobsmacked mum claims ghost of a dead baby sister photobombed a Snapchat pic. Kelly Green spotted the creepy figure lurking behind her while chatting at home alone in Barnsley, South Yorkshire. Kelly's friend sent back her pic showing a spooky figure looming behind her right shoulder. Kelly's father suggested it could be Kelly's miscarried sister, Jessica, who died 2 years before she was born. At first, Kelly was quite freaked out by it, but now she says she finds it quite a comfort thinking that her sister is watching over her. What do you guys think? As usual, let us know. The controversial concept of an afterlife's existence has fascinated philosophers and scientists for thousands of years. From ancient tribes to the modern Western world, people regularly perform rituals and discuss beliefs around life and death. Now Reverend Dr. Terry Daniel, an interfaith clinical chaplain and bereavement counsellor, claims she has made contact with the afterlife. The trauma specialist and end-of-life educator believes she has regularly communicated with her dead son for the past 13 years. She revealed how she started communicating with her severely disabled son, Danny Mandel, only 30 minutes after he died, aged 16 years old, from a rare metabolic disorder. She said, "I was lying on the bed with him, holding his dead body, and I said to him, 'Where are you? Because I see you're not in this body. You must be somewhere.' And all of a sudden I started to get all these images of him, playing and laughing. It was so intense for the first few years that I would just feel him around me all the time. I could feel that energy, and he would just start putting all this information into my awareness. He would be telling me these long, detailed stories, providing information about what it was like to die, and what it's like in the afterlife, and what our purpose is here on Earth." The experience motivated Dr. Daniel to dedicate her life to teaching others how to perceive death and grief and the loss in a new way. She believed the dead can have a fuller perspective and appreciation for life. Her son described his experience as being in the realm of pure spirit, lacking any ego, completely changing your perspective. She said, "One of the things he said that I love to teach in all my workshops is everything in the universe is connected, like pieces in a kaleidoscope. And all the little pieces appear to be separate, but they're all interconnected with each other. And one piece cannot move without all the other pieces moving. So everything that happens in the universe, say a butterfly landing on a flower or a volcano erupts, and anything in between, shifts all the pieces in the kaleidoscope around, and they all move together because they're interconnected, and they cannot function separately from one another." Dr. Daniel feels this ability to contact the afterlife can help other people with the grieving process. The possibility of an afterlife, however, is a hotly debated topic among the scientific and medical community. Although the science on life after death, by its own very nature, is inconclusive, many claim to have experienced some vision of the afterlife. Some at death's door report encountering near-death experiences, NDEs, including visions of light at the end of the tunnel. Others have even claimed to have stood before St. Peter at the pearly gates. The question on whether life can survive death has been the topic of research by the University of Virginia Medical Center. Bruce Grayson, a professor of psychiatry and sciences at the University of Virginia, claims there is an increase in brain activity during a near-death experience, suggesting the mind is not what the brain does. Professor Grayson also said that people who have NDEs believe it is realer than real. He said, "We asked people who had come close to death to rate their memories of the event, and also of real events which have happened around the same time. What we found for people who had NDEs, the near-death experience was remembered with more clarity and detail, more context and more intense feelings than real events around them at the same period." Dr. Daniel feels an ability to connect the afterlife can help other people with the grieving process. She said, "I started the Afterlife Conference in 2010 to create a forum where grieving could be discussed. What we do to try to help people is to show evidence that communication is possible because it helps with people's general spiritual outlook, but mostly with coping with the loss of their loved ones who have died. When you realize that they're still somewhere in the universe, that they have not disappeared and they are not worm food in the earth, it's a very different experience of grieving," she said. Welcome back, my little lovelies. I hope you enjoyed them. As usual, let us know what you think about them. Keep the comments nice and clean. Keep it all tickety-boo. Now, our last video has been our most successful video so far. It's on its way to 4,000 views, which for this small channel is marvellous. I mean, we've got our bigger channel, The Wonderful World of Weirdness, and that goes into hundreds of thousands and even millions of views. But for this channel, it's marvellous news, and it's great to see it growing. And it's all down to you guys. Thanks for watching, and keep watching. Now, that's all from me for this episode. I'd like to report that the roof is still on the house, so we made it. Congratulations to little Dylan. Right, that's all from me. Until next time, take care, my little lovelies. Ta-ta! Ta-ta, my little lovelies.